The name of the movie is Dragon Squad, and I play a character named Petros, and he's the antagonist. He's his brother is killed, and he's a criminal, but he has a certain set of values, and his brother's killed, and he is upset by that and wants to take out revenge. So he goes out looking for it. It's kind of a revenge story from my point of view. Why was he killed? Well, actually what happened was we were all part of a team, and we were robbing a bank, okay? And one of the members of the team was betraying us. And because that member of the team betrayed us, he took all the money, and my brother got killed. And he became a big gangster, and that's why I'm trying to find him now. Well, I'm out for revenge because I feel like my brother was killed by a friend of mine, and I'm upset with that friend, and so I go after him. And it's he's a criminal, but still he was very surprised that a member of his team would betray him, and so he gets angry, and this member of the team is picked up by the police, and my character vows to kill him, so it doesn't make any difference whether the police have him or not. I still want to get him, and that's kind of what drives me in the movie, is this sense of wanting to avenge my brother's death. Really, that's what it's about, and it's good because I like playing. It's an antagonist. I guess he's one of the bad guys in the movies, but I'd rather play a character that's not just he wants money or he is crazy, but this is something I could really get behind because I really feel wronged. Whether you're a criminal, whether you're a good guy, whether you're a bad guy, if somebody betrays you and a friend of yours betrays you, it hurts even more. So it's a character that I really like to play because it was easy to feel like I was the hero, even though I was playing the bad guy. Well, he is, but the feeling of what drives the movie and what drives the character and what sets everything into motion in the movie is the fact that he feels that his brother's death needs to be avenged. And it's not just about, oh, I want to make a lot of money, oh, I want to blow up the world, I want to, I'm a crazy guy and I'm just out killing people. It's a guy that happens to be a criminal, but there are a lot of criminals around that are, there are different levels of criminals, and this is a guy that's has made a living being a criminal all his life, but doesn't go to the lengths that he goes in this movie to avenge his brother's death. Normally, he's just a guy who goes in, does a job, and then goes out, enjoys the money for 6 months or a year, and then goes back and does another job, and he robs banks, and he robs museums, and he robs things like that. But he's got some military training, but mostly it's about somebody. Like if somebody killed your brother or sister, how angry you would feel at them, and how much you would want that person to suffer for what they did to your family. And that's really what I feel. Do I do fighting? What? Fighting? Yeah, I do some fighting. I do not a lot, but yeah, I do a little bit of fighting in it. Mostly it's gunplay, and I have a man who is my like second in command, and he does most of the martial arts in the movie. When I first got the movie, they called me from Hong Kong, and the producers, they asked me to study some martial arts with him. In the United States, a very famous martial artist, his name is Biehn, Aikido, Benny the Jet, and he was a very, very, very good teacher. So I worked out with him for it's like 6 weeks, and I had done some martial arts before, but I had a lot of fun with him, and he was a very, very good teacher. And then I got over here, and they didn't have me do any, so I got all the training for free, but I thought I was going to get to do more. And I would like to have done more. I like doing fighting in movies. I was talking last night to some friends about how much fighting I've always done in all my shows. And I enjoy it. I enjoy being physical. I'm getting a little old for it now, but I've done I would say maybe well, dozens and dozens and dozens of fights in movies and television and so on and so forth. And they're fun to choreograph and fun to do and fun to try to make look real. You know, I've been asked that a lot about Hong Kong films and American films. And, you know, really, in reality, making a movie, it's kind of like riding a bike, you know. It's the same here as it is in America. And even though I didn't even speak the language and didn't speak Chinese, I always knew what they were going to shoot, when they were going to shoot it, when they were ready, when they wanted to do another take. It's almost like, when I was around the set, it was almost like I could understand what everybody was saying. You know, outside in Chinese, I have no idea what they're saying. But when I'm on a movie set, just because I've been on so many movie sets all my life, they're all the same. So I could almost understand. I didn't even really need a translator on the movie. Daniel, who was the director, he spoke English. And so, but, you know, I didn't need a translator. There's a little bit of a difference because here the scripts and the story is not very well defined. It's not exactly the way that you're going to do it in the United States. They have scripts, and you basically play it almost as is. And if you change something, it has to be okay by a lot of people. And here you show up for work and say, well, the director says, well, would you want to say this, or maybe we'll say that, or this is kind of what I have in mind, how would you say that? And so that was a little bit different, but I enjoyed that too. It's what we call more improvisational. You know, it's the story is not so concrete as it is in the United States. So that's the biggest difference. But and they work, you know, incredibly long hours over here. You know, they don't have any unions here, and so the actors and the crew, they work way too long of hours. They work 16, 18-hour days, which is really just, I feel, unfair and not a very good way to make a movie. People just get too tired. I mean, making movies can be a lot of fun, you know, and when you're working 18 hours a day, then you go home, you sleep for 6 hours, you have to come back to work, and you do it day after day after day. It's difficult. And so the working conditions for the actors, for the crew, are very, very poor, I feel. Very poor. And I think that somebody should do something about it. I think the Chinese stars should try to band together and do something about it, because they work people way too hard for not very much money. And it's really, it's just not fair, and it isn't as fun to work that way. 12, yes. Yeah. Usually we have 12, and then we have always, sometimes 13 hours, maybe 14 hours is a very long day. But then at the end of the day, then you get 12 hours to sleep. You know, 8 hours to sleep, and then see your family, go grocery shopping, you know, do what you need to do, you know. Sometimes when you do a movie, you work for 12 hours, and then you go back. Let's say if you're on location, you go back to the hotel and you watch the dailies. You watch the dailies from that night, and everybody can sit around and have a drink and kind of have some fun. But, you know, when you're working 18 hours a day, you just have to go home, go to sleep, wake up, and go right back to work. You know, 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week, 8 days a week. And it's just brutal. It really is brutal. And I think it's very, I just don't think that it has to be that way, you know, because you know, the longer hours. I didn't work the longer hours. We have in the United States the Screen Actors Guild, which is a union, and it demands that actors can only work a certain amount of hours. And so when a foreign country like China wants to work with an American actor, they have to sign agreement with the Screen Actors Guild, and they have to treat the American actors with all the Screen Actors Guild rules, which means they can only work a 12-hour day. They have to be fed, you know, at certain times. They have to fly in business class. They need a couple of days to rest before rehearsals. A lot of rules that help protect actors. To say, oh, I know why. They do that to save money. They do it to save money, to make money and to save money on the production, and to save money. Yeah, it's all about money. It's the same thing in any labor situation, you know, whether if you're a miner or if you are working for the railroads. it's always management and labor, you know, and management always tries to get labor for as cheap as possible. And maybe in the United States it's gone too far because it's very expensive to make a movie in the United States now. And because it's expensive and because of all the unions, it's not just the actors union, there's the Teamsters, and they drive the trucks, and there are unions for the camera operators, and the unions that make it very expensive. So the people in the United States, they say, well, we're not going to make it in the United States, so they go to Canada to shoot. Now Canada has become unionized, okay? So they don't go to Canada anymore. They go over to Eastern Europe, and they shoot over in Eastern Europe. So, you know, sometimes the unions can go too far, but I've been working for 30 years now. I've worked in Tunisia, I've worked in Pakistan, I've worked in Czechoslovakia, I've worked in Spain, I've worked in I've never, and all over the world, in many, many different places, all over Europe, and never have I ever seen the crews that work this hard. So that's the difference, you know. But it didn't affect me so much because I just watched it, you know. I was like watching it going, man, these people, they really, really, really work really, really hard, you know. And they really, I don't know if everybody in Hong Kong works that hard. I don't know if everybody who goes to, I don't know, like if you put it in an 18-hour day or not. No, I don't know why they do it with films or why they need to do it with films, but they do. And I'm telling you, people, you don't realize how, and you know that sometimes the conditions are very difficult too. You know, it's raining, or you know, it's you know, you're working at nights, and then you get up and then you have to work during the day, and it's pretty tough, man. It's not glamorous, you know. They say making movies is glamorous. It's not glamorous at all, you know. No, I didn't learn. No, I didn't learn kung fu for the movie. I trained a little bit with Biehn, the Jet, and he taught me. I think it would be more a general boxing techniques and fighting techniques and kicking, but not kung fu per se. And so I learned a lot. Like I said, I learned a lot of stuff to do, and then I got over here. And they changed the script and they changed the character a little bit, and they decided they didn't want me to do as much martial arts.